Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to talk about tonight is something that has piqued my interest. Now, if you read this article, which is linked in the description box below from NBC, a mainline media source, you would be under the understanding that the Republicans were at conflict with each other. There's a war within the party around gun control support and gun rights support. However, this is a very interesting scenario, particularly when I show you all the details of what they're actually pointing to. This is something you're going to want to see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field below, and please send this one out because it speaks to something larger. They are trying to manipulate you. And if you are new or returning viewer, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and making sure you turn the notification bell on. We need as many of you as possible to get into the fold with us in order to share this type of information to pass the Second Amendment along to the next generation as was given to us. Thank you so much in advance for your consideration, and this content is brought to you by Adams Arms. Now, Adams Arms has some stuff going on their Instagram page that they want you to check out. They're putting together educational information. For example, what does a gas line do? What does an actual gas tube length have to do with your velocity, your accuracy? All the things that make your freedom go pop. They want you to know about it. There's a link in the description box below at their Instagram, and thank you so much to Adams Arms for making this content possible. But my brothers and sisters, we've got to dive into this because listen to this title. Again, you would think, from the way the media is couching this, that the GOP and gun supporters like yourself and myself are at odds with each other. We don't want support after all. There's really questions. Check this out, and then I'm going to lay this out on a field map, and you can tell me what you think. Strange alliances emerge in Tennessee as the GOP governor pushes for gun reform. And listen to the subtitle. Governor Bill Lee's insistence on taking action highlights how gun control has become a major tension point for the GOP in overwhelmingly conservative Tennessee. Now, based off of that title and that subtitle, you would think that, like I said, there's a big battle going on. We want gun control from the Republican side of the aisle. Nay. In fact, they're leveraging this guy. This is the Governor Bill Lee you're seeing on the screen. He's term limited. He can't be reelected. So maybe that has something to do with some of the actions he has. However, there's other things that he's done that doesn't really line up with that narrative. So let's get into it and then I'll highlight it. This came out today, this morning to be exact. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee's decision last week to call a special legislative session to tackle gun reform has prompted a number of unfamiliar allies to line up behind the Republican leader. Yeah, Democrats are, gun control groups are, Every Town for Gun Safety is. They're all going to where they can get the source of power. That is not a big surprise across the board. For example, if a Democrat governor comes out and says, hey, we're going to really curtail that abortion thing, you're probably going to see Republicans come out and go, that's a good idea, and Democrats' hair get on fire. It's probably the way it's going to work. But as we go through this, let me just lay out what Bill Lee has done in the past and currently, by the way, and then I'm going to show you what they're trying to frame this as. So, Bill Lee was responsible for signing constitutional carry in Tennessee. He was also responsible for other gun protections. He was responsible for, most recently, more funding for hardening schools and adding more police officers. And at the same time he made a call for the special session for some sort of gun legislative red flag law, he also signed in litigious protections for gun manufacturers in the state. So they can't be sued, which is the left's main tactic right now. Sue them out of business, even though they still have the Second Amendment if they can't supply the business. Oh well. Does that sound like something that it's at war with itself? Let's keep going because they're couching this and they are stretching hard. Democrats and gun control groups have lauded Lee's move, which came weeks after the Covenant School tragedy. On the other hand, Republicans in the gun-friendly state have signaled they're unwilling to go along with Lee, who, following the shooting, pleaded with its conservative legislator to take action. So you have Lee's background, I just told you. You have all the most recent actions he just signed into law, and you have the Republicans-led legislature that's going, ain't happening, Jack. Does this sound like there's a conflict within the GOP for gun rights? Or does this sound like one guy's going, hey, I don't have any political consequences, let's just see what we can get done, even though the GOP is not behind him? Again, you have to look at what these people present and know where their end goal is so you can see what they're trying to do. This is manipulation. Yet again, gaslighting. But let's keep going because this is just interesting. So this is their entire thesis. The unfolding dynamic has put on display how gun control, which remains for most Republicans an untouchable policy item, even in the face of repeated mass shootings, has emerged as a tension point in the party, even in an overwhelmingly conservative state. You just heard me say that the GOP and the Republican legislature ain't going to do anything about it. This is also the exact same guy who signed in some pretty advanced gun protections. Is this lining up at all? Let me know down in the comments field as I'm presenting this, because something seems a little bit off, doesn't it? This is where it gets weird. I even have it in my notes. This is where it gets weird. Gun rights groups bashed Lousy Lee and threatened to do whatever they could to imperil his political future, even though he's term limited. Not too long ago, Lee had earned plaudits from such groups, which had praised the efforts in recent legislative actions or sessions to enact constitutional carry laws and other gun protections. As I mentioned, again, does it not contrast reality with what they're saying? It doesn't make any sense. The media has a designed and determined outcome. They're trying to twist this into something that is clearly not in Tennessee. But anyway, this is where reality kind of conflicts with their narrative. Lee's latest call, however, has so far been met with either silence or rejection by Tennessee Republicans and gun right groups. That Tennessee House Republican Caucus, for example, has repeatedly said that, quote, any red flag law is a non-starter. Jennifer Easton, a spokesperson for the caucus, said that members were continuing to demand the release of Covenant Shooters Manifesto before working with Lee on any proposals. Does that sound like there's a conflict inside the GOP? Gun control is on the rise. There's an uncertainty with gun future. Does that sound like that? Or does that sound like they are trying to manipulate something to have you believe something that does not truly exist? Because this is not making sense on any level. If you look at any other way, the only determined outcome can be they are trying to get something to happen that's not. But let's wrap this up with going back to the wishful thinking. That sequence put into greater focus the national GOP struggles over how to balance policies and issues that are popular among the conservative base. A second ago, they were saying there's a conflict about these policies. Anyway, such as opposition to new gun restrictions, but deeply unappealing to swing voters who will play a vital role in next year's elections. So now, Republicans, make sure you pay attention to the media. They have your best interest in heart. They want only the best for Republicans. That's why they're giving you the advice to say, hey, the swing voters don't want your message. Anything setting off any type of alarm bells across the board for any of you guys? Let me know what you guys think in the comments field below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.